I've been a member for 44 years. We joined in 1968. We had visited several of the churches in the area. They were fine, but they just did not feel like home. And when I visited Morrow, it reminded me of my home church. Everyone was friendly. The pastor was Randall Williamson. He was very personable, very one-on-one. The associate was Mike Cordell. And the very next week, Mike came to visit us. And I was vacuuming, cleaning house, all that. But a couple of weeks later, then we joined.
Okay. Out
Teaching Sunday school, VBS co-director, serving on the homecoming committee, writing the script for the centennial celebration in 1970, serving on the work area on education, history committee, and co-founder of the church library and other things too. When I came in, James Baswell, I think, was education chair, and it had been talked about for a while. And he talked to me about it, and since I had taught school and loved to read, it really appealed to me. And so, yes, I wanted to get on board for that. And I haven't regretted it at all. I see a lot of changes need to be made for it to reach all ages. Right now we have the younger children and some middle highs who will regularly come in, and some of our older members. By older, I mean those who, not necessarily chronologically, but have been here a long time and have used the library, and they continue to use it. We used to receive a lot of memorials or in honor of gifts, and of course that has not happened lately. Yes, when people need or want to give a memorial, it would be nice to give it to the library. That would give us some funds to work with. When Emery Brackman was our pastor, and he asked me to go into the church office as secretary. I had always, since I was 17, I had committed myself to some type of Christian ministry. And my church then financially sponsored me, and I went to Young Harris College and Emory University through their sponsorship. And at the time I thought, I'm going to be a pulpit preacher. But back then that wasn't quite as easy for women as it is today. And then of course I met my husband at YHC. And instead of going into ministry, I started teaching until my children came. And then I stayed home for 10 years or so. Full-time mom and volunteer and all that stuff, PTA. And then Emory asked me in 1972 if I would come into the office. And I really had to ponder and pray about it, because I was so used to being with my children all the time. But yet I knew I had this calling. And I remember that for about a week I walked around in my yard day after day, and I was praying and I was asking the Lord to guide me on what I should do. Should I go to work part-time and leave my children? But I did get an answer, and he did guide me to come into the church office, and so I did in 1972, and I stayed for 38 years. And really it was a ministry, and it was my passion. Mm-hmm. I had the privilege of knowing the people. um, sharing with them the births of their children, the children growing up, their school years, college, accomplishments, sadness, illnesses, deaths. But really, the people are the pulse of the church, and I feel like I did know the people, and I loved the people. It was also my privilege to work with so many, maybe 9 or 10 senior pastors and associates and youth directors and volunteers, and all of them were so dedicated and, so true to what their calling was.